At Harold One, I'm Ted Jervis, and this is ZNS.
The Rundown is brought to you by Commonwealth Brewery Limited. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you with us for another week, an exciting week we're going to have. Let's get right into it. Thanks for joining us. Well, we can feel that the cost of living perhaps has gone up, right? So wouldn't the rightful next step be to increase minimum wage as well? Well, at least this has been the stance put forth by a unionist who, since the last increase over the 2 years ago, has been talking about it. Well, let's hear in this story from Daniel Dean his concern on why he's calling for another increase in minimum wage. Take a look.
Don't matter who's say 260, we say 350.
Trade Union Congress President Obi Ferguson throwing that figure out as the suggested increase to minimum wage. Crunching that figure down, that comes down to $8.75 an hour.
2013, they will give you base figures for what it costs to live in the Bahamas. Could you imagine? $260, they say. You got a family of 4. How could you support that?
Firing back, Minister of Labour and the Public Service, the Honourable Pia Glover-Roll, stressed that it's not just a snap of the finger issue, but one that requires balance.
While we're ensuring that wages are where they need to be or where they can be for persons at the lower end to survive, there's also the fact that we have to ensure that cost of living, which the government is working on, to ensure that cost of living is balanced as well.
Minister Glover-Roll also maintains that the government must operate from a responsible and informed place.
The TUC is a member, is a partner in the National Tripartite Council, and the National Tripartite Council is charged with producing for the government an analysis and a report and recommendation on a livable wage for our country. We have not received any such report, recommendation, or analysis from the National Tripartite Council, of which the TUC plays a significant role.
In the end, though, while increasing minimum wage is not ruled out, programs have been implemented and facilitated to allow Bahamians to increase their skill levels and naturally qualify for higher pay. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Thanks a lot, Daniel. I think the way Daniel ended our report, I think, is a very important note to think about, and that is upgrading skills, ensuring that people are qualified, right? So while we're talking about increasing the minimum wage, are we talking about ensuring our people are employable, ensuring our people have skills so that they can qualify for earning a higher pay? I don't think the goal should be for somebody to just make minimum wage, right? I think the goal should be, how do we get our electorate, how do we get the entire population of the Bahamas, the working force, to be able to make sure that they are more qualified for higher paying jobs? Because even if you take that up to the $3 and change that he's asking for, can a family still live off of that? The answer will probably be no. So what is the best way to ensure that people can earn a decent wage and be able to take care of their families? Well, to ensure that they have skills to be able to earn more. And I think that in 21st century is what ought to be the cries of union leaders, to ensure that they provide training, provide opportunities for higher learning for their members or for the workforce, so that people can qualify for higher paying jobs. I think we're past the kindergarten discussion on increased minimum wage. We live in an economy and we live in a population right now where the jobs that are available are not being filled because people lack the skills. And if we ensure that our people have more skills, they can qualify for more of these higher paying jobs to be able to take care of their families. That is important first. And I think that's where the focus ought to be, in providing greater training opportunities, being able to provide greater certification for the workforce, so that people can have what it takes to earn more. We got to stop this thing about giving people more. People have to qualify themselves to earn more in our country. We still having this discussion about how many job vacancies there are, but they cannot be filled because the skill sets that are needed that our people don't have. And so there's something that we can do as Bahamians to ensure that we can earn more, and that is qualify ourselves so that we can say that I have this certification, therefore I'm demanding this level of pay. That's important. And I think if we focus on things that can make tangible change and difference, then we won't be having this argument every year about people who cannot afford to take care of their families. That's absolutely important. On to another story tonight. Two parents at C.H. Reeves Junior High School may be facing trouble with the law after a brawl broke out on campus, much to the dismay of the administrators, teachers, and students who witnessed it. Although it occurred at 3:30 in the afternoon, students waiting on their rides and athletes at practice all witnessed the event, which the school principal is resolved to address to ensure that no other parents try a stunt like this on campus again. Here's a story from Felicity Darville.
3 ninth grade female students of C.H. Reeves Junior High School let an argument from the last school year carry on into the summer over social media and spill over into the new school year. Things turned physical on campus on Thursday. Principal Dr. Sterling McPhee was having none of it. The students are on a 2-week suspension, but not before he called a parent-teacher conference. It included Superintendent Ferguson of School Policing and Education District Superintendent Shavannah Darville.
We had all the parents, met with them on the inside of the auditorium. We were able to gather them together. Sadly, to say that there was really no resolve at that particular time. The instruction was given by superintendent. If parents felt as if they needed and wanted to make a formal complaint against the other parent, that was the instruction that he gave. Now, we don't know whether or not that has happened, but like I said, here at C.H. Reeves, I'm going to be making a formal complaint due to the behavior of the parents in front of our prince and princesses.
As the parents left the auditorium, a fight broke out in the school's main square.
We were dealing with the young ladies, we were dealing with the situation, but sadly, when the parents came, they did not come with the right, to me, they did not come with the right attitude.
An attitude that their children seem to have adopted, and that is why Principal McPhee is taking action.
And this is one of the reasons I'm making a formal complaint. I would share with our staff here, I think one of our greatest challenge here is that we are really kind of contending with what's happening in homes. Most of our children here, very respectful just very respectful students. But when we see parents coming on campus and we see how they conduct themselves, then we get to see a bigger picture.
When our role models, including parents, set a good example, the children tend to follow. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Felicity Darville.
Thank you, Felicity. We've talked about this before on the show. We've talked about the fact that the actions of students on campuses not traditionally created on their own, right? They adopt traits from their parents and family members, and they reproduce those. And I've often said that parents ought to be held responsible for their children's actions. But when you have parents acting out, I mean, we talked about this, if I remember, during the last school year, when there was at a graduation, parents were fighting, and now parents fighting again. Listen, I'm saying this with a smirk because it sounds harsh, but it's the truth. Parents ain't who they used to be. We had parents that we used to call them what the Little House on the Prairie style parenting. They were well-dressed, well-mannered. They took care of it. They accompanied the kids to school, went to parent-teacher conferences with the child, and said, "What is my child doing? Let me know." And the teacher gave the child a bad report. That child was getting their hair twisted up right in front of the teacher. Those days seem to have gone, right? Because parenting, we have younger people having kids. We have so much social issues in the communities that a lot of them were never trained to be parents. Do not think that people who are having children today wanted to have children or were trained in how to parent. A lot of them aren't. Parenting used to be planned with a husband and a wife or our family. It was planned that we want to have kids, we're going to raise kids, this is what we want to do. Nowadays, that's not what's planned. What's planned is we going out, we have a good time, and oops, I'm pregnant. And so you have parents who never wanted to get pregnant or didn't want this to happen, now having kids. And so where is the concentrated effort in ensuring that you raise your child correctly? there are challenges in some homes. There are challenges, and that's why a parent doesn't think twice to fight with another person, because they're not recognizing I'm a role model. They don't see themselves as that. And so you have an issue when parents can come on the campus and fight. I mean, they're not even embarrassed that their kids are seeing this, or other kids are seeing parents. Why? Because that's normal to them. They have challenges resolving conflicts, and so they result to physical activity in order to try and resolve. It's sad, but it is the result of what our society is producing. And sadly, our school zones now can become war zones because people don't know how to conduct themselves accordingly. And I'm with the principal. I'm glad you reported it, because there ought to be conduct. And if you don't follow the code of conduct on school campuses, you ought to face consequences for it. It's as simple as that. If you can't be responsible, somebody else got to be responsible for you. And no school principal wants this type of incident to happen at their school. And it's definitely, absolutely, definitely not a good look to the students who will become the country's future professionals. Bahamas Union of Teachers members are also watching the situation closely, and tonight, Union President Belinda Wilson will join us to discuss acts of school violence as well as other things. They're watching it closely, much closer than the person running the teleprompter. And so what they're going to be doing is seeing how this is going to shape up, how this is going to pan out. And of course, tonight, once we talk to her, we're going to end also on another note, highlighting an issue that affects the elderly. Of course, believe it or not, it affects some younger people as well, too. September is being observed as World Alzheimer's Month. Thank you, teleprompt operator. And executives of the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association will enlighten us on the impact of this diagnosis, also known as dementia. So some important things to get to tonight. When we come back at this desk with me, the president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers. No, she's not on Zoom tonight. She's actually here. We're going to talk to Belinda Wilson about this and a number of issues. You are indeed watching The Rundown here on the ZNS Network. We're back right after this. Stay close.
During Little Caesars Carnival of Specialties, you're going to want to try everything. Like wearing a Balloon Man costume?
Or turning into a tuba?
No! Like trying all the varieties from the Carnival of Specialties at a special price for a limited time, only at Little Caesars.
For just $13 VAT inclusive, get it now at Little Caesars, Oaksfield, Carmichael Road, East Street South, Charles Saunders Highway, and Prince Charles in the One East Plaza.
Pizza.
Fashion was something that I've always loved. I always, as a child, loved to see women just impeccably dressed. But my thing was drawing the looks and mixing colors, and fashion was in my blood. My name is Dr. Jillian Curry Williams, and I'm the designer for Remilda Rose Designs. What sets me apart, that I pay attention to detail. Like, I have an eye for detail. I pay attention to the construction of my garment. I want to make sure that when my garment is completed, that you can wear that on the wrong side or the right side because it's impeccably made. I put my personality into my passion. Well, the fabric of hope was inspired by my father. My father had cancer, and I would go with him to treatments and seeing everybody just look despondent and dreary. And one day this lady dropped her mom off, and her mother fell once she got inside, and I was like, wow, like God, like I'm only a fashion designer. Like, what can I do to assist these people? I know God had me to create it to inspire persons with cancer or any illness that there's hope, that there is light at the end of that tunnel. The encouraging word I would give to women, it's been in my heart for a couple of days, to speak to the older women who may feel that I'm 40, what can I do? I'm 50, what can I do? And that's when the fire in us kicks in. We've had the work experience. We pass all those tests. So take that idea that God has given you and put it to use. This is where it all begins.
To learn more about the Women Entrepreneurs Initiative, visit our website or contact us at 461-7232. And remember, empowered women empower women.
Make your company representative stand out through an embroidery design on your uniforms from Janae's Uniform Center, Chesapeake Road. Janae's utilizes the latest state-of-the-art embroidery technology to monogram large and small quantities of shirts, caps, bags, and other articles. If you don't already have a digitized logo, Janae's can design and digitize your idea and bring it to life. Then install the logo of your choice from their large selections of 27 stock colors of golf shirts in cotton or dry fit, caps, or workwear. Call 394-8385 or 6 or visit www.janaes.com.
And welcome back. A special good night to all of you who are watching on your various platforms. Those of you who are watching in the Lion's Den, I see you on Facebook. And then those of you watching on YouTube, those of you watching on Flow TV, cable TV around the country, or in Turks and Caicos Islands and a part of the region, and those watching internationally from the diaspora and around the world. Welcome to The Rundown. It's always great to have you with us. Well, it was about 2 weeks ago on the first day of the new school year when the Bahamas Union of Teachers expressed concern about the alleged lack of readiness for the new school year, including inadequate school conditions, unpaid contractors, and a shortage of essential staffing, such as guidance counselors and teachers' aides. Other key concerns involve delays in payments and appointment letters for teachers, issues with an Oracle HR system, and the need for more resources and funding to improve dilapidated school buildings. That's a long list. I know, right? Sounds like a long list of issues. We know she's outspoken. Teachers Union President Belinda Wilson is here tonight and ready to give us an update on her union's concerns. It's always a pleasure to have you in the Rundown. Welcome. Good to have you here.
Good evening.
All right, let's start, first of all, with school conditions and resources, because obviously that was the most critical thing with school opening. Where are we with that? Have you seen any improvements? Are you still concerned about conditions at schools and the resources, i.e. teachers and so forth?
We still have concerns. Firstly, let me say that each year we do our own inspections of schools. And so throughout the entire Bahamas, we have executive members, we have shop stewards in every school. So I would provide them with a checklist and we look at whether the school is ready. And I can say to you that up to Sunday, before school opened on Monday, I was in about 8 schools.
Wow.
And the painters were there, the janitresses were there, the garbage was piled up. And this happens every year. And we keep saying to education, you must plan ahead. As you also mentioned about teacher shortage, we have a number of teachers, guidance counselors, and 1 or 2 psychologists that are still at home who attended the orientation on August the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. And they heard all the lovely, flowery speeches from the minister and her team, but they are still at home today as we speak.
What are they waiting on?
They're waiting for an appointment letter, which comes from the Ministry of the Public Service, and a posting letter, which would come from the Ministry of Education. However, the excuse is they're waiting for vetting.
Right, this is what the director said last week here.
Okay, so again, every year you note that vetting is an issue. And I can say to you, I wrote to the minister from she came in 4 years ago, a 6-page letter. So recruitment was a part of that. The recommendation given was that the ministry should speak with the Commissioner of Police and ask the Commissioner of Police to provide a few officers
assigned to that very task.
Assigned to that task, and let's say 3 weeks to a month. First of all, the persons that you are vetting, for the most part, they are the same students that went through our schools for 12 years.
Right.
They are the same students that you gave our taxpayers money to.
For scholarships.
For scholarships, grants, and tuition.
For an entire 4-year degree.
For the whole 4 years. So they came out from May, and September, we're vetting them. We're waiting for a copy of their certificate. So what were you doing?
Right.
We have a whole planning unit in the Ministry of Education. Are you using that unit in order for you to be able to recruit in a timely manner, get the documentation processed, submit it to the public service so the public service can then have the letters in a timely manner for our new teachers?
I think you raised such a valid point, right? Because I believe one of the issues we've been talking about is a public service itself. The processes, the hindrances to getting things done quickly seems to always be a challenge. And I agree with you. If you have, the majority of these people that you're vetting are people who've come through the system. They've come through the University of the Bahamas, they've been on scholarship. why in their junior year, because they have to go and do the teaching practice, they have to go in the classroom. So my thing is, I think you'd want to know, even when they go to do teaching practice, that they are safe to put in the classroom,
Let me tell you the recommendation that we gave, and I can tell you I gave this to at least 3 ministers. December of the previous year, they're graduating in May.
Right.
December of the previous year, find your way to the University of the Bahamas.
Right.
Get the list.
Right. And get the process started.
Contact them and say to them, send me your transcripts, your references, etc. The only thing you'll be waiting for in May would be the degree.
Right.
Because they
the deal. Right.
Right. And their the final transcript. So if you start the vetting process from December, January, by the time May comes, you would know that that person, we cannot hire them because of X, Y, Z.
Right.
You would know that he has an outstanding traffic ticket, because some of them are held up for a traffic ticket.
Seriously?
Yes. So all of that you would be able to process by May or June, which means that August orientation, you should be ready to give them their letters and send them to the schools where they're posted.
The director said last week on the show that they should be down to, I think, 9 outstanding, maybe these administrators or principals that need to be posted, and maybe about 30 teachers. Is that correct?
But okay, let's go to the principals. So we had not only schools in the Family Islands, schools in New Providence as we speak today that do not have a principal. So again, I go back to, you're supposed to be the Ministry of Education. You're supposed to be the educated persons who are showing the other ministries how to operate in an efficient manner. And you want me to tell you something else too? They just sent out the vacancy notices in June.
Right.
The deadline was July the 18th for school that's opening August the 25th. Give me a break, somebody. And you know what bothers me so much? We have these people in high places, I call it. And they get 5s on their ACRs, and they get promoted from one position to the next. But a teacher is monitored, evaluated, observed, and, oh, you came late once for the term, so you can't get a 5, you have to get a 4, you have to get a 3. Who is monitoring them? Who is evaluating them? And it's unfair.
Yeah. No, I agree. These are problems that could easily be rectified before.
And they need to stop this bunch of excuses. You got a job. The job has duties. Go perform your duties. If you can't perform your duties, then get out the chair. Give it to somebody else. Let them do the work.
We've also seen teachers' concerns about receiving geographical allowances, delays. You talked about the appointment letters already. When we come to financial matters, what is the issue? Why people cannot get what they're entitled to do what they need to do?
Again, every year the government has a national budget. Every head of a department has to submit to the Ministry of Finance their needs, what it is that they need. And so a lot of times we note that they have to, we have to write to finance for the geographical posting allowance. And for persons who may not know what that is, we have teachers, guidance counselors, teachers' aides, librarians, who would be posted to Grand Bahama or a family island where they do not normally reside.
Right.
So it's for a round-trip ticket. It's for them to put their cars and their personal items on the boat. It's for them to buy personalized, to turn
pretty much a relocation
to turn on
allowance.
their utilities, etc. And you want me to say something to you today? We have a new teacher who just got the geographical posting allowance on Friday. So she has a son, a 12th grader, that she could not enroll in school because she's in one island waiting for the funds to go to another island. So when they say, oh, the union again? Yes, the union again. because it is human beings that we're dealing with. Right. And our members are being impacted negatively. So we say to them, plan ahead. The budget, you put in the budget. Let the Minister of Finance or Simon, who think he's the boss, let them say, we can't give you this X amount of millions, but put it in. And you must know that if you are hiring 200 teachers today and you're sending 100 of them to the Family Island or to Grand Bahama, you must know how much funds must be allocated for the rental allowance.
Yeah.
And every year it's the same thing. So tell education, stop the excuses, get the job done.
We're going to continue with more of this. We're back after this. Stay close.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SPDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Welcome back. My guest tonight is the president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Belinda Wilson, talking about concerns that they have so far with the school year. I want to move on to another concern that came up, and that is your concern about the Oracle system.
I don't want you to move on yet, you know.
Okay, I knew you were.
I ain't running the show, but I don't want you to move on yet.
You're my guest. Feel free.
No, I want to address, too, the school repairs.
Okay.
Because I'm saying to you, up to the Sunday evening, school is opening the next morning at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
You have workers who are there, some of whom did not receive 1 penny yet.
Right.
And again, they need to give the mobilization and they need to allocate the funds to the contractors prior to the close of school in June.
Yeah.
Now you say the Oracle.
No, before you go, I think that's a good point you made. We asked the director that last week, and she said, well, yeah. I said, well, every year there's this rush during a window period to renovate, sometimes major renovations. And if you think about the construction world, it is very hard to do major renovations in 6 weeks. 2 months, from start to finish, mobilization, absolute all the dirty work, then the cleanup, and be out in time for teachers to come in to prepare. That is a very tight window, which means that it has to be some advanced planning to take place because you're not going to get it all done in that period of time.
We also gave them a recommendation, and the only minister that attempted it was Minister Alfred Sayers. The recommendation was to decentralize the work and get the plumber, the electrician, the carpenter for the various districts. So, for example, New Providence has 4 districts.
Right.
So if you have 15 schools, let's say, in one of the districts, but you have the plumber, the electrician, you have the carpenter. So when there is minor work to be done during the school year, they can do that. Don't wait until one louver was out, they could have come and repaired that. You wait until the whole window fall out, then you find your general or the constituency to give the job to who don't know one thing about construction. That's another thing too. They don't know anything about construction, so they subcontracting the work. Listen, y'all, I can tell y'all, we in trouble. Because if the Ministry of Education cannot get the processes right and do things in a logical manner, what do we expect from the rest of the country?
Oracle.
Bad words. Again. Okay. Oracle and the digitization of the human resource and the accounts for the public service is an initiative from the Ministry of Finance.
Right.
And I want to say this, I want to say it clearly, and I want to look in the camera and say it. The Bahamas Union of Teachers, we support the upgrade and the improvement of the human resource and accounts systems throughout the public service. What we do not appreciate is when the government is going to try to start a new process, introduce a new human resource portal or system, and new accounts with a bi-weekly payment without consulting the unions.
So there was no consultation with the union?
There was a consultation with the union on December the 19th, 2023. In that meeting, we expressed our concerns, and then they asked us to write. I wrote a 6-page letter, which I copied to the Prime Minister, to the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance, to the consultants, etc., asking several questions, which I can say to you up to Tuesday, September the 9th, last week. The questions are not answered yet. And I could say to you that I've said to my members, anybody come with Oracle, ignore. Anybody come for verification, ignore. Anybody come for you to put your electronic signature for them, ignore. So today the permanent secretary sent out a note to say that the verification has been paused until further notice.
What was some of those concerns you
pause
had?
it before you send that out.
What were some of the concerns that you had regarding this?
Okay. When we met on December the 19th, 2023, on the first week of January 2024, I called a meeting, virtual meeting, and I had about 1,600 to 1,800 members on Zoom.
Wow.
And we also have a YouTube channel. And I pushed for them to go on to the Oracle, go onto the My Profile system, and put in your personal information, etc. And I can say to you, about 3 or 4 persons put in their information, and they were able to see someone else's personal information.
When they were entering theirs?
When they were entering, because what the My Profile was an open source. Right. So I told them to cease. And from January 2024 to present, we are still trying to get the Oracle sorted out, trying to get the relevant information and persons in the room. I must say, I did have a meeting with the Prime Minister in March, had another meeting with Minister of State, Halkitas, and some others whose name I will not even call, from finance. And we are expecting to have a meeting. We've requested a meeting for Friday coming. And I could say this, and I could say it again. We will not agree to a system that they've not proven to us that the information
the data is protected.
Safe.
So your concern really is the data and protection of people's information.
Yes, yes. That's the main issue.
That should be easy to rectify.
We've been there before. We done talked about this before.
So you wait to see what happens.
I wait and I have time.
Curriculum. Let's talk about curriculum updates. You've been advocating for curriculum updates to better meet students' needs. What would you like to see done?
What I want to say, I'm pleased that a book was, they just had a book that, well, a history book that's been completed. However, we're still waiting to get copies of the book. So that's a plus that we have the Bahamian history in the schools. That's important. What we also would like to see is where students have an opportunity for more courses that will ready them for job readiness for the workplace. Because we note that there's only 15% of the 100% of the students who would pass again the BGCSEs. So let's tailor the system, not to say that if you don't pass the BGCSEs, you won't be able to pass examinations.
Right.
But when you look at, there needs to be a marrying of what it is that we want for the country and what it is that we are providing as a education system.
That means the conventional way of teaching could be altered a bit. Do you believe that needs to happen?
Yes, because, okay, if you say that you're doing all of these anchor properties.
Right.
Okay, so if you're doing the anchor properties, then hey, we need the chef, we need the maid,
courses in hospitality,
we need
customer
the
service.
We need the gardener, we need the front desk clerk, we need the manager. So let's use, especially those last 3 years. So you get the fundamentals.
Right.
That's your grade 1 to 6, grade 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. You focus on, we call them pathways.
Right.
So the pathways.
I totally agree. I want to bring this question because somebody's online asking it. I think is important. Diane Turnquest says, the Ministry of Education is continuing to say they lack teachers, but there are a ton of graduates returning home from school with bachelor's and master's degrees. But when they inquire about positions, the ministry is insisting that a teaching certificate or diploma is needed. If these graduates have the knowledge, why not hire them? Why leave these bunch of vacancies and graduates outside of education are looking for a job?
Agreed. When I started 32 years ago, when I started, I had a bachelor's degree in English. So I went to the College of the Bahamas at the time. It took me 2 years to get my teaching certification. So yes, go ahead and hire them. And make sure that they go to do the teaching certification, but not only that. When you have a new teacher, the new teacher is paired.
True.
You're paired with a older teacher or more experienced teacher.
A lot of skills you can pick up on the job.
Oh yeah. And not only that, they give you guidance.
Yeah.
So we have master teachers and senior teachers that we've not really given them any specific duties on a day-to-day basis.
Other than just teaching a class.
Right, so they're teaching. So you can then match them with the newcomer and walk them through.
Makes a lot of sense now. Makes a lot of sense. I always marvel when I hear about teacher vacancies because I'm always thinking that there's so many people in this country who could teach or offer in some level or way. Even if you have a listing of persons who have retired and say, listen, if we have a shortage, can we call you back and wait for 6 months until we get another teacher in there? Can we call you back to assist in classes? I think it's just a matter of having a list and just calling the list.
They have about 25 to 30 retirees that that they've re-engaged, so they're on the campuses, but there are shortages. There are shortages, and that's another thing too. Like, I wonder why the Ministry of Education does not communicate and liaise with the University of the Bahamas so that they would know what the needs are prior to. And you can offer, because I mean, they're offering full scholarships. So you offer those scholarships and grants to some of your top students who that can be attractive to them.
True.
Because they say, I don't know what I can do anyway. I graduating in June, but I don't have a job. I don't think I'm going off to college. So those are the students that you can target. But every year we talk about the same things over and over and over and over. I mean, ad nauseum.
Are there improvements you're seeing?
Very little. No, very little. Very little. I guess the breakfast program, feeding the children in the morning, I would say that that's something very good because they need a meal.
Right.
And it helps the brain for them to function better during the day. But when we look at education, I marvel at that I'm going to leave very shortly. And I'm saddened that we have not seen greater improvement.
If you were to say my top 5 that I would like to see happen in the education system, what would that be?
Curriculum revision. And the curriculum revision needs we need to have courses that when the students complete the 12th grade, they are able to go into the workforce. Definitely we need. So curriculum development, what matches what it is that our
country needs.
Definitely that. We need funding. And we need the funding in a timely manner. The funds should not be on the back end. It should be on the end of the budget period that precedes the summer.
Right.
So that you would know that the repairs and even the recruitment, you know that you have those individuals. There definitely needs to be a more robust recruitment exercise, because I'm of the view that the Ministry of Education does not recruit in conjunction with the University of the Bahamas.
Right.
It should be a marriage with them, and they should say, yes, we are targeting, we need 20 history teachers. We need 10 math. So it's a deliberate recruitment. A very, very, very sore point is school repairs. So the repairs, again, should be all year round. So you're doing the minor repairs all year round, and you leave the major repairs for when school closes in the summer. And number 5, we need some new people to the helm of education. No, seriously. We have sufficient educators who've been in the service for years, some who've written books, some who've worked on the curriculum. And so there's no need for us to bring back persons in the system. Let's use who we have, and which means then that you have persons who have something to look forward to. Because you're in the class, you may have been in the class for 30 years, and you're saying, hey, I would like to do something else. But if you keep bringing back and recycling the people who failed you before, then how does the ministry and the service improve. So let's promote those who should be promoted, and let's try to attract the great minds to bring them into education.
15 seconds. You talk about we have foreign languages. Should we be teaching Creole?
Yes. Yes. I don't see a problem with it. You teach the Creole, which means then that you're able to understand too what it is that they're saying. Because they saying some things, they could be saying, okay, tomorrow we can blow up the school, and you there grinning. So yes, teach it. And I must say that there were a number of teachers that did a Creole course at the College of the Bahamas at the time. It would have been at least about maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago. So they were able to communicate with the
It is
Creole
what
students.
goes, what's going on in our country. You have to face reality.
Yeah, so we have to be cognizant of what we're faced with and try our best to deal with it in the best way that we could.
Linda Wilson, thank you for talking to us. How much years you got in this term?
I got 2 more years left.
And you said you were doing this again.
Oh, no, I'm retiring.
This is it?
I can be 65.
Oh, you going on the sunset?
I'm going to go home and lay down and watch the television and say, I told them about that about 20 years ago.
Or maybe be a part of the solution.
Well, you never know.
Thank you for talking to us.
But you can't let me leave before I say solidarity forever.
In your yellow, red, and black.
That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you, Linda Wilson. Always a pleasure having you on. Stay with us. When we come back tonight, we're going to talk about Alzheimer's. A lot of people associated with old people, but it could be young people too. We're going to talk about that right after the break. Stay with us.
Are you ready for the hardest sports show on the market? It's called The Timeout, Sundays on the ZNet Television Network. In our first show, 4 decades of sports in the country.
After I was in a plane crash in June 1983, I lost my left arm. I had some good friends, came along, fishing guides. They said, man, we can teach you to fly fish. Exumo. Can you see? Look at it, man. One of the nicest places you want to be in the world. There were challenges learning to cast, learning to put a fly on a leader, learning to tie the different knots. For me, as a handicapped individual, as a matter of fact, I don't really feel handicapped because I could do everything, man. Anything anybody could do, I think I could do it too. Because put your mindset to do anything, no matter what you are, what you look like, what's happening to you, you can do it. Persons in our positions, it's hard to get fundings and very, very expensive. SBDC would be helpful in regards to help funding people with disabilities. So nothing is impossible if you're disabled. Any kind of disability. Put faith in God and trust God. Believe you will overcome.
There are over 3 million shipwrecks on the ocean floor, just waiting to be found. Nothing is truly ever lost at sea, only hidden by time and sand. When I put this fleet together, it wasn't just for fun. And although we do have fun, we never lose sight of our goal. Right here, right now, we are on a mission.
Finally tonight, by definition, dementia is an umbrella term for a collection of symptoms that are caused by disorders affecting the brain and impact on memory, thinking, behavior, and emotion. Alzheimer's disease is the most common cause of dementia. Well, the plight of Alzheimer's is propelled during the month of September as the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association participates in World Alzheimer's Month. Bahamas Alzheimer's Association Treasurer and Director Wentz Martin will explain the disease's impact and the activities on schedule to observe the milestone. Welcome to the Rundown. It's always a pleasure to have you, sir.
Good evening, Bahamas, and good evening.
How many people are really impacted by Alzheimer's disease? Do we have statistics, Bahamians particularly?
The last set of stats, Clint, that we had was about 2,000 Bahamians that were, we used the word living with as opposed to suffering from.
Right.
We're changing the terminology for a more positive spin, but there are about 2,000 persons in the Bahamas as we got our statistics from ADI, Alzheimer's Disease International. It's an institution that sort of studies Alzheimer's, dementia. And as you noted, dementia is the umbrella term for anyone suffering from or living with these cognitive, we call them cognitive function disabilities in a sense.
Is that on the increase in the Bahamas? Or it seems some people must say, well, 2,000, considering all our population is not too many people. Is that growing?
Well, it's interesting you say that because we understand that it's staggering when you look at 2050. It's predicted that the disease will increase by 226%. And that is, if you think about it, when people are coming out of the closet, so to speak, because there are stigmas, there are various different reasons why people don't declare, their loved ones to be living with any form of dementia. And so this is based on what we know. So imagine that there are others who are not saying anything, and we predict that it's probably a lot more than that staggering stats.
I would think so. Does this disease impact young people?
Oh, certainly. We normally thought it was an old person's disease.
You get old, you start losing your memories, you get old, I start losing your ability to think. You think it's age.
But it's a myth. It's a myth that, that age automatically brings on dementia or any other form of Alzheimer's or any other form of dementia, rather, because you can get old and you can live until 150 and not have dementia. But we've also seen where people from the age of 40 years old are living with or encountering symptoms of dementia.
What are those symptoms?
Well, first of all, and I hate to alarm people, but just, your keys, right? You can't remember where your keys are.
We just had an incident in the newsroom just now.
Well, but it gets, worse than that. You talk about remembering names. Persons you would have went to school with 20 years ago, 40 years ago.
Now, hold on now,
And then it gets worse in terms of your motor skills and memory, and then you walking outside of the house, walking down to a road and not sure what your actual address was 5 minutes ago. And of course, we've had people where the police would have been called because they went missing. And you've seen the poster boards with persons just walked out of the house innocently, not to return home because they simply can't remember where they lived.
Is medication readily available to treat?
Well, unfortunately, and that's why we're here, and that's why I'm wearing purple. I know my other guest had a very lively color on. I'm wearing purple because purple represents Alzheimer's awareness. Well, it's dementia awareness as well. And when you talk about cure, so there is no known cure for dementia. So I want to put that out there. There's continual research as to how we're going to get to diagnosing and actually treating the very symptoms of dementia. But right now, there is no new inquiry. I'm sure you've watched YouTube and various other platforms where they tell you, drink this, drink castor oil, or, But right now, medically speaking, we don't know of any particular cures.
Before we close, what are some of the events you're going to be doing to bring awareness?
Well, thank you for asking. So this month, we've already had, and we partnered with the Rotarians to have, on the 6th, what was a wonderful event, caring for the caregivers, because nobody remembers the caregivers.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
But we have to care for the caregivers because we need them. But coming up, is, and starting this week, and I know we talked about the schools, but we have in the schools on New Providence dementia and Alzheimer's awareness going on this week. But we also have, what I need to highlight is the 21st, the 20th and the 21st. And we have the J. Henry Bostwick Walk and Run. This is under the auspices of the Dame Janet Bostwick, and in respect to her late husband.
Yes.
And so that's something we're partnering along with the Bahamas Bar Association and various other groups.
September 21.
September 21st. Please sign up, go to the website. And also, you just Google Bahamas Alzheimer's. And, you know, we have various different events, like the church service, which is the following day, the 21st, and that's at Christ the King Anglican Church in Ridgeland Park. And so we want you to come out and support. And of course, one of our biggest events, what we call the Candlelight Vigil. And this is for persons who have lost, I mean, if you had someone, a loved one who would have who died, because you can die with dementia, this is where you celebrate their life. And so it's an event that happens every year. And so we invite the public to support us. And, you know, dementia is something you can't predict.
Right.
It's not like a disease where you said, you know, my aunt had it, so I'm going to get it. We have people who have no family history whatsoever. And so it was one of those diseases that you need to really be engaged in, because you never know who is going to be impacted, and you never know at what age you can be impacted. So that's why it's really important to be involved in dementia awareness.
Lance Martin, it's always a pleasure.
Yes,
thank you for talking with us and sharing, and hopefully we will be able to cover these events and bring more awareness to it on behalf of our network and be able to assist where we can. But thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you.
Continue to do.
Excellent.
It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. Yeah.
That does it for the rundown. Be sure to stay locked on the ZNS Network for the Bahamas tonight at 11. It's a final newscast, live newscast here in the country with the latest news and information. And it's no longer with Royston Jones. It's now with Corvell Pfeiffer. For all of us here at ZNS, I'm Clint Watson. Thanks so much for joining us. Good night.